Um, turns out I forgot to upload like the past 5 days. Whoops. I'm surprised that I didn't run out of space considering one video was an hour long and the rest of them were between 20 to 30 minutes. Anyway, this school on Friday, 26th of August 2022, before I actually get into it, I just want to give a very brief recap of two incidents that happened in January and May 2022 in year 4. So the first incident was I said something racist. The male head of year called me into his, to talk about my racism. Um, I let it slip about how, I'm reading all the time and I can't do that. I'll get bored. And inevitably, I'll get in trouble. And eventually, basically, I got the next day off. I talked to a therapist, and the therapist said, it is clear that the school is allowing you to be bullied. Like, they do not care. They allow it to happen. And we said that to the school, and they're like, okay, yeah, we promise to never let that happen again. Flash forward to May, where I got in trouble for having hay fever, and the female head of year defended it. So now we're at today. I had a meeting with my new mentor. Well, she was my mentor in year 3, but she's not the same as the mentor from year 4 because she was on maternity leave for a while. Her and the female head of year. Where I was like, you got any in English, and basically, what can we do to help? And the answer really is it's nothing that they can do. It's the board that needs to change because, like, in the case of English, the question was way too vague. It was like, is there evil? And you have to basically memorize a 120-page script, which I'm not doing that. I'm not an actor. It was hard enough to memorize a speech for drama in year 3. I'm not memorizing a whole script. But when we revised in class, the questions were specific. It was like, John Proctor, has John Proctor suffered? Yes, here's the evidence. But I can give like a very, very vague answer because it's a vague question. It's like, yes, because, well, I would need to pick out certain examples, but that's kind of hard to do because it's 99% of what happens in the play is evil. And then, like, I have a paragraph on the good stuff because there is some good stuff that happens in it. And because of that, the female head here was like, oh, okay, we just need to revise it more. I was like, no, we don't need to revise it more. Like, if the question is going to be vague, you need to help us answer vague questions. It's not more, you need to change it up. And also, that's just a problem for English. For media, I was able to hint at the problem, but I never got the chance to actually specify. The problem with that is the politics of it. Like for film studies in year 2 and 3, it was just watch a movie, I'm study it. Bit of politics, but I basically agree with all the politics in the 5 movies that we did. Attack the Block is Britain is crap because of David Cameron. I agree. Salty. South Africa is crap because apartheid. Yes. We were supposed to do District 9, but we didn't because of Corona. Rebel Without a Cause. I mean, it's rebellion. It's based by default. Hell yeah. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I don't remember the political message. Oh, it was like just live, basically. Although there was one bit where it was like, he wears a beret, and it's a reference to this great man, Che Guevara. Like, no, Che Guevara is evil. He's not a good person at all. Um, and as for Juno, I don't remember the politics of Juno. I don't think there was any politics. I don't remember much of Juno for studying it, but this year, and I've seen Juno and Attack the Block. Well, I like those films. I also seen and also Ferris Bueller. I'd also seen Rebel Without a Cause, but I didn't like it. I like the others, but not Rebel. Then when I studied Rebel, I liked it. I thought, because of that, I was excited to study the things that I like for media. Black Panther, Riptide, uh, one of the others, Assassin's Creed. I'll just say this for now. We've done Black Panther, and I mention this all the time, but yeah. Chadwick Boseman sacrificed himself for BLM. He died of cancer. For Humans, I mean, we haven't done much of it, but while it is true, he called it a soap opera. Which, I mean, the way I see it, soap operas are more quantity than quality. But with Humans, it was only on for like 24 episodes, whereas, and as I know it's not fair to compare something that was on from 2015 to something that's been on since like 1960, but Coronation Street is over 1,000 episodes. As for Moving Image, we kind of talked about it, but they didn't make a priority because I got a C in that. But there is a problem. There's two problems actually. Free problems. There's probably more, but I'm just going to say free problems for now with Moving Image. One, for the most part, the stuff that happens in our school does not go into Moving Image. But after the racism, it did. Because there was this document that the teacher had uploaded called Ethics and Representation, where it was like, Quentin Tarantino is racist because he says the N word in Django Unchained. And Wes Anderson is racist because he has never hired a black person in his life, despite the fact that he hired Danny Glover in The Royal Tenenbaums. And I said that when I was talking to the male head here about the racism. It was like, we have to write about these people are racist, and then I'm going to make up for it by putting a black person in my film. Well, I'm kind of screwed because I don't know any black people, because I live in a small village in Northern Ireland. The chances of me knowing a black person is next to nothing. And then, despite the fact that I told him not to do it, he told the Moving Image teacher, and she was like, I hear you're a bit confused. Well, it says ethics and representation, not ethnics and representation. Well, I read the document. The person who wrote the document said, these two people are racist. I'm making up for it by putting a black person in my movie. So, if that's not what you're supposed to write, then don't put that as an example. They were technically two problems. The third problem is that I don't have an idea for what to do for my movie this year. Like, what I should have done was kept what I did last year for this year, and then do like you're able to do like a shot list basically. I'm going to assume you can't do it in year 14, but I should have done that in year 13 so I could have kept the ideas for what I call despair. Like that was the name of my movie. I should have done that this year. So I'm kind of screwed unless I come up with something quickly. Because I had the idea for despair like almost immediately based off what she taught us. Was like, I'm trying to remember now. Like I know I'm just trying to put it in the words. Oh, sorry. It was if you show something to the audience, they'll make them tense. Like for the example, like Hitchcock, like show a bomb under a table and there are two guys at the table talking about baseball. None of them know that there's a bomb under the table, so the audience are on the edge of their seat going, get out before you die. And I took that and made the most basic plot out of it that I could without getting in trouble. I'm definitely not going to be able to do something as lazy as that in year 14. Sorry, it's been a little bit. And I think Twitter's reset here. But I'm trying to think of where I got to. Moving image, I think. I was talking about ethics and representation. And I need to make it clear that the incidents, I'm gonna reset the counter back down 0. So like if there's another incident that happens, the title of the school video that it happens in will be called Incident 1. But the meeting was just basically false promises and lies. And apparently that's all that happened in the assembly that happened at the same time as the meeting. That was it. I've been placed in 14S when I was 13T last year, and I saw something, I don't remember where. I think it might have been my results. Like the sheet said that I was 14T, but now I'm S, and a bunch of people that were in 13T are now in 14S, so I'm just going to assume that S and T have swap places, or all three have swap places. I think that's it. Oh, my form teacher is the same form teacher that I had in year 9. She's great, so that's good. But on Wednesdays, I have someone else who I think is either new or I've just never had them before. The timetable isn't really good. I have double English with the female head of year, first 2 on Monday, followed by some study, then media, more study on Tuesday. Careers first thing with a teacher who I've been told. Did I give away the name of the form teacher? If I did, I'm sorry, but for careers, the teacher is someone who I've been told is the worst teacher in the entire school. So I'm not looking forward to that. The rest of the periods for Tuesday are blank because I either have study or move an image because they're left blank for now. We'll get a better timetable on Wednesday. Also, I now have another English teacher because the the one that did Scarlet Letter with us last year, she's not doing it anymore. She's been replaced by a teacher who I only ever had her for reading in year 10. Anyway, this Twitter as of 7 p.m. Good on you, Lauren Boebert. I don't know who you are, but it's clear you've done good. Oh god, here come the people trying to justify the Ministry of Truth. Bobo. The concept of the Ministry of Truth was to combat disinformation. The problem has been that no one ever expected this volume of disinformation coming from the Republican Party. Kind of weird that you seem to be proud of that. Well, it is not a good thing. It's heavily biased, and the reason why you don't acknowledge that it's heavily biased is because it's biased in your favor for now, but eventually it won't be, and then you'll start talking about how it's biased. Ah, great. Still, continue. Now, are they sending her ashes to space just because of Star Trek, or did she actually ask for this? Like, if she asked for it, fine, but if they're doing it just because she was on Star Trek, that seems a bit disrespectful to me. Don't even know why I'm clicking on it, and it's going to be about his mate's daughter's death. Actually, yeah, why is the Prime Minister asking poor people to sacrifice their central heating to counter Putin? But he's not asking energy bosses to sacrifice their record profits. Excuse my stomach. Golf balls are the product of colonial exploitation. The game was imposed around the world by the British Empire, says University of St Andrews. By the way, it's been a while again. Golf just joined the growing list of things white people are supposed to feel guilty about. Take back control of our borders, said Boris Johnson. Well, the latest figures say 1.1 million people were given visas to live here in the last year. I don't feel comfortable showing this next post, but I'm going to do it anyway. A Pride event in Charlotte, NC. I would assume it's New York City, but we know people who say New York City would say NY or NYC. Anyway, featured a stripper pole where kids were able to try pole dancing. If anything, the religious right wildly underestimated what was coming. Emmanuel Macron, not Macron, has warned the French they are facing sacrifices and the end of abundance. The police officers should be forcefully removing them instead of making them feel comfortable. It's no wonder people are losing respect for them. Mark Zuckerberg tells Joe Rogan the Facebook algorithmically censored the Hunter Biden laptop story for 7 days based on a general request from the FBI to restrict election misinformation. So yeah, Mark Zuckerberg has now confirmed that the FBI are corrupt. It's not like this isn't something that's up for debate anymore. Anyway, 2018. Facebook is a private company. It can do what it wants. 2022. Yes, big tech works hand in hand with the government to censor information embarrassing to the regime. So what? Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance, the Chief Medical Officer and Chief Scientific Advisor, would openly admit that lockdown could do more harm than good. They're really trying to flee the sinking ship. All the main people banned by all the major social media networks trend on all social media networks multiple times on a weekly basis. Is this what they really expected? I understand why those who cheerled for the lockdown would like the subject closed. It must be excruciating to think you're partly responsible for the avoidable death of tens of thousands of people and recession which will blight the lives of millions more. Let's take it on the current thing crisis, which the current thing crisis is now split into multiple current things at the same time, which that is not good. It was bad enough with one current thing at one time, now it's multiple at one time. 70% of pubs in the UK say if electricity prices continue to soar, they'll be forced to close down. Many face a 600% increase in power costs this winter. Meanwhile, Bojo sends another 54 million to Ukraine. Well, the reason why we're having an energy crisis is because we're sending 54 billion to Ukraine, I think. Because you have all those like posters and all saying, we're gonna be cold so that the Ukrainians can live. The severity of the UK's energy crisis, in terms of its impact on households, could be worse than the 2008 financial collapse, according to Bloomberg. Eye hurts. Remember when Google censored the Great Barrington Declaration? Another example of big tech censorship being weaponized in a manner that was incredibly harmful to society. The Great Barrington Declaration, scientists have proven completely correct. Lockdown was an outrage. The chairman of the nation's paper industry association has warned Germans that the energy crisis will create a toilet paper shortage, almost certainly risking fresh panic buying of the product. After Joe Biden declared that so-called MAGA Republicans are semi-fascists and a threat to our democracy, which sounds like something Rishi Sunak would say, and charged that they embrace political violence, White House press secretary person refused to explain what Biden meant. I think it's more like they just genuinely don't have any idea what he is saying. I mean, semi-fascist. Like, you're a bit fascist. You're not 100. You're not 100% fascist like Rishi Sunak. No, that's a terrible example. I can't think of something. FBI raid on Donald Trump's estate has significantly boosted his chances of winning the Republican nomination for the 2024 presidential election, a new poll shows. Remarkable scenes unfolded at the White House as reporters demand to know how on earth the Biden administration can say its student loan forgiveness plan is fiscally responsible when they cannot give any details on costs or who is paying for it and how. The second wave is about to hit. Many of us have been warning about this for 2 years. You don't shut society for months on end without getting a huge economic blowback. The cost of living crisis is the cost of lockdown crisis. Two-time heavyweight champion of the world Tyson Fury is being very outspoken about the UK's immigration crisis. Climate change eco-warrior Prince Harry flew by a private jet for a one-day polo tournament 1,000 miles away from his Californian home, while his kit was sent in a separate car. Do as we say, not as we do. Includes from Marcus, which I think it's the longest break he's taken. But I looked at the PlayStation's pre-order section and Dead Island 2 is on there. Like, it's not on the coming soon section where they just put things on there that like we know is coming, but you can't pre-order it yet. Like, you can actually pre-order Dead Island 2 right now. Which I mean, who's going to play it? Like, the only hope that they have is that, like, Felix, Markiplier, and Jacksepticeye play it. But even then, like, despite the fact that they're some of the biggest gaming YouTubers, well, for Felix, he is the biggest, but, you know, some of the biggest ever, they're not really mainstream anymore. I think the last time that Felix was the last time that Felix was mainstream was all the stuff with T-Series. So the only hope for Dead Island 2 to be successful is that those three, that trinity, play it, and their fans play it. That's about it. If it came out in 2016, it'd be a different story, but it's just a consequence of Fortnite. I know that seems like a stupid statement, but just please think about it. Women are larger and more powerful or better because they produce stronger offspring. Simple as. Lacks confirmed wheel. Look, I get that the videos are made for different people. I really shouldn't be watching this video because I'm not doing GCSE AQA media. But you just made a video yesterday where you said the exact same thing about the Daily Mirror. So what's happening is that GCSE AQA are doing the Daily Mirror from the 1st of November 2021, while A-level Educast students from 2024 onwards are doing the Daily Mail from the 2nd of February 2022. And, you know, both videos, first thing she says, or then, you know, welcome to my guide for this, is this suggests that it's going to be a reflection of the world. So above what it says in Daily Mail on this paper, it says, fighting for our futures, as if the Daily Mail are revolutionaries. They're not. So that's something about football in the top right corner of the cover, suggesting that targeting a male working class audience. Well, I mean, I'd say that they're targeting as many people as they can. It just so happens that they have football on the front cover when next time they might have ballet on the front cover. I know that ballet isn't really a popular thing anymore, but I just try to think of like something girly. The paper point that I don't think they're targeting mainly male working class people. So this one's going to be a bit tricky to talk about. We're talking about the Pride of Britain Award, which to her suggests that they're very patriotic, but the thing is that they aren't. The reason why they're covering Pride of Britain is because I think there was something political, like trans pride or whatever, in the Pride of Britain Awards last time, and that's why they're supporting it. It was something similar to what happened like last week with that. It was like a black girl won like some beauty pageant in Ireland. First black person to win it, and in her speech of her winning it, she just talked about how Ireland is a racist country. See, diversity. I'll mention why it's tricky. It's tricky because the left, like, they're always saying hypocritical stuff, because they'll say that Britain is a racist place, but then they'll be like, oh yes, I love the diversity and the Pride of Britain awards. Disabled people are underrepresented in the media. Well, I mean, it would be kind of, I don't know, but if I were disabled, I think I would feel quite patronized if, for like TV, that wrote a disabled character just for them being disabled. Like the only show I watch, I can think of right now has a disabled character in it, is NCIS New Orleans. But like, I don't remember the guy's name because I haven't seen the show in a while. But He's played by Daryl Till Mitchell, who has been disabled for, I think, like 19 years now. The show started in 2014, so about 11 years after he became disabled. And they didn't, like, he is good. I haven't seen him in other things, but I like him in the role. He's a good character. And the point is that he doesn't exist just to be disabled. You know, he's there because he's an important member of the team, and he's written really well. I do agree with what you said next, where some disabled people feel patronized because they're thinking, don't say that it's brave and inspiring and all that. Just represent disabled people as like anyone else, as like me and you. Which, yeah, I agree with that. Said Summit to Save the World, which I'm going to soon, is talking about the G20 conference. I forgot how many. I forgot the number because it was like G8. Then when Trump became president, he left it, so it was G7. Now it's up to G20. Unless G7 and G20 are two different things. I don't know, but I think it was G20, and that conference was a bunch of crap. It was just like the food that they served there was almost exclusively meat. And Bill Gates was there, whose favourite food is burgers. He gave a speech at the event, and he was like, we need to stop eating meat. We need to start eating the bugs and synthetic meat. Which I think it's something to do with plastic. I don't know, but just point is, it's very hypocritical. It's not just Bill Gates. She brought up the definition of the word doomsday, saying, oh, we associate it with bad, basically. You really don't need to do that. Like, it's obvious what the word doomsday means. Sorry, it was COP26. Oh, forgive me, this was November 2021, so you know it's been a while. So, everyone here are all leaders of countries, but there's only one woman. Okay, oh, men are more dominant, men are powerful, are for the extremists. The world it's all fascist. Well, funnily enough, the one woman there is the leader of Germany. But she is a Nazi. The reason why there aren't many women leaders in the world is just purely coincidence. Angela Merkel isn't wearing a suit. It shows the man is more classy than Angela. Nope. I think it's actually considered cross-dressing if a woman wears a suit, but I don't know. I don't really consider female cross-dressing as cross-dressing at all. But what Angela is wearing is what a typical woman politician would wear, whereas a suit is what a typical male politician would wear. The Indian Prime Minister is not wearing a typical Western style suit, making him seem different or othered from the rest of the leaders. Right, you do realize that the Indian Prime Minister chose to dress the way he was dressed. He wasn't forced to dress a different way than the others. He did it because I'm guessing it's more, cultural to India. Post-colonialism. I'm tired of hearing about post-colonialism. And especially since it doesn't apply here, considering he chose to wear the clothes. He didn't say, no, I want to wear a suit, and someone behind the scenes said, no, you will wear the whatever it's called. It just looks like a vest and a shirt to me. he chose to wear that. So don't talk about post-colonialism at all. And it's not that the Daily Mail chose to represent him as different. It's just he wore different clothing from the others. So when he is presenting himself as different, it's impossible to represent himself as the same. So something I was supposed to start the video with, but I just completely forgot, was that I now completely hate Critical. Like 100% now. Because it used to be that I liked the man. I just couldn't get into his videos. There's just something about it. I don't know. Except for the one where he said he was still alive because of the Gwyneth Paltrow's candles causing a house to burn down or something. He bought one. People thought he died, so he made a video that said he was alive. Like that video. I just couldn't get any of the others, but he's just been pumping out bad take after bad take after bad take. The only good take that he's had recently is that God of War 2018 is a masterpiece. But the first thing was that when he made his video on the Gotham Knights show trailer, he said that literally every other show in the Arrowverse is crap, when that just isn't true. The only crap show in the Arrowverse is Black Lightning and Stargirl, if you want to count it. And also Naomi, but I don't know if that's part of it or not. And I mean, who remembers it? It only aired a couple months ago and everyone's forgot it. And then he made a video calling the new Saints Row crap, and I'll be honest, I haven't played it yet, but still, how dare you? Anyway, could represent. Okay, so there was a caption on the newspaper saying, "Take us to your leaders." And apparently, this could represent the politicians as leaders. Yes, they're literally the leaders of the countries that they're from. For Angela Merkel, it's Germany. For Emmanuel Macron, it's France. For Joe Biden, it's the United States. Like, yes, obviously. But it's just sad. I don't. Could suggest they're alien-like and not understood by the public because, take us to your leader. That sounds like something an alien would say when they invade the Earth. But she said that it represents the politicians as aliens. That doesn't make sense. It would represent the civilians as aliens because the Daily Mail hates the British public. She's doing a very terrible job of explaining what the Doomsday Clock is. I'll give a much simpler explanation. It is a hypothetical clock, and the closer the time is to midnight, the closer we are to Doomsday. That is, it probably could be I could make it simpler, but that's what you need to say instead of what you're saying. That it's quite a long explanation. I have the video on double speed. I get that it was a conference by the climate, but why did they have a photo of Greta Thunberg there? Honestly, I'm surprised that Greta's wearing a mask, considering that in the middle of lockdown, she just didn't seem to know that, there was a lockdown, because it was summer 2020. She was like, why aren't people protesting climate change? Because the government has basically banned us from doing it. And also people are busy protesting, rioting, George Floyd stuff. Also, Masked Crusade makes it seem like a superhero trying to save the day. Right, Greta Thunberg is not a superhero. she is an insufferable prick. And I'm tired of like the mainstream trying to make her seem like she's not, because to the not to the counterculture, but just to the public, to the plebs, as the Daily Mail would call us behind her back. She's just one of the biggest assholes. Um, like that, those ads on TV where you have like that puppet trying to stop people from littering. I got an ad on Instagram with photos of him holding a sign saying, "So you think you're like Greta Thunberg?" And I thought it was like, you know, are you an asshole? But nope, it was, are you a good person, basically. But I just commented that, yes, I too am an insufferable prick. So China, Russia, and Brazil didn't attend the conference because they're the biggest polluters in the world. Well, and she said that, uh, that it was their fault for Corona. Well, Russia dealt with Corona really well. The only people responsible for Corona is China. Here we go again. Post-colonialism, because we're blaming China on Corona. It was literally their fault. Like, it started in China. They had opportunity for, I think it started in November 2019 in China. They had from November to, I think, March to lock down the country. No flights in, no flights out to prevent it from spreading, and they didn't. And I say March because I don't know, it wasn't March actually. I think whenever it came to Italy, if they were to lock down the country before it came to Italy, then we wouldn't be where we are.